Hey everybody, just coming to you today. Just want to keep rolling out some stuff here, and I didn't know what I wanted to discuss because I'm still working on fleshing out how we're going to approach this notion, this concept of information as it pertains to the digital and the manner in which the digital and its various tendrils are creeping into our existence. Hopefully, by tomorrow, I'll be able to attend to that topic more adequately. But I didn't want to just be silent, so I was happily benefited by coincidence in that I ran across a talk on an old nemesis of my own and of you too, namely the nemesis of transhumanism. Which, when you describe transhumanism, honestly, when I describe transhumanism, I'm almost embarrassed because it sounds like I am sketching a caricature. But in fact, what I'm relaying is what transhumanists themselves actually yearn to realize, namely a post-human reality. They reach for an objective where we become first synthesized with technology and then subordinate to technology. Perhaps the real epitome of their utopia is found in the notion that we can upload our consciousness into some sort of a server, a cloud, and thereby realize a digital immortality. Just absolutely ludicrous on its face. Nevertheless, this is that after which many powerful people reach. And I think we should be cautious not to dismiss the significance of this perspective, despite the fact that at first blush it sounds just absolutely ludicrous, because it's a perspective which follows with a kind of logic from the imperatives of modernity itself and the manner in which the scientific project is framed, wittingly or unwittingly, by its fountainhead. People like Bacon, Descartes, and so on. Even Machiavelli is in that mix, even though we don't generally associate him with the early formation of science. This isn't, by the way, to throw the baby out with the bathwater with regard to what constitutes actual science or the pursuit of knowledge. But at the time of its explosion onto the scene, it is yoked, for various reasons into which we shall not presently go, to a technological imperative and to a notion that we must subordinate nature, must dominate nature, bring her to heel, if you will, and ultimately control her absolutely. And here's the thing about that: we are nature. So there is a recursive logic to that framing that ultimately leads to the human annihilation of itself. And this is why we need to become sensitive to the manner in which such technologies as artificial intelligence, as social media, as even certain forms of cybernetic modification of our own bodies, we need to become sensitive to how these are linked to a project that is deeply misanthropic, deeply at odds with the valuation of the human as the ground of value in our world. That is not the ultimate ground, I might note. I feel that it's ultimately connected to terms which we may, for lack of a better word, identify as transcendent. But at minimum, they are human. And projects, technologies, perspectives that seek to annihilate the human are projects, technologies, and perspectives against which I think we should set ourselves with a certain ardor. This connects, by the way, not merely to the problems of the digital, but also, I shall add here, to the manner in which certain apprehensions about ecological environmental crises become voiced. There are ecological and environmental crises afoot, but they are perhaps not the crises which we might think that they are. And more importantly, whatever they are, it is vital that we understand ourselves as part of the solution. A lot of times the discourse around environmental and ecological questions assumes an anti-human perspective. Some of the grosser manifestations come up in people like Nick, what's his name? He's a famous anti-natalist, but his last name is escaping me at the moment. But it's almost immaterial. There are people who will hold that it is unethical to bring children into the world, that life itself is a crime. And again, that sounds like hyperbole, but this is their seriously assumed position. And these people have insinuated themselves into channels of power and influence in subtle and gross ways, which demand that we resist what they are proffering. Politically, economically, socially, culturally, but perhaps most primarily in our own minds, in our own self-conceptions. You cannot concede the insulting, the demeaning, and the incorrect characterization of the human being as the enemy, which is promulgated by these discourses. Because you are part of the solution. I'm part of the solution. The human is key to the solution. And more important than being part of a solution is what we are. In fact, as I say this, I realize that we have to transcend even the notion of seeing the world merely through the lenses of problems and solutions. Because who and what we are is beyond anything that can be so contained in a rational frame like that. The merely rational frame is inadequate. Because ultimately the rational frame, if it is not rooted in the ground of the real, can be deployed to serve any end whatsoever. All right, so much there for really just an array of a constellation of thoughts that are in the vicinity of what we've been taking up so far in the past few days. Tomorrow I intend to return to the question of information, the concept of information, get into that a little bit more. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a good evening.